You want to develop your abs, but you don't want to be doing hundreds of sit-ups from now until the rest of time. G'day guys, it's Daniel from Club Aquarius, and let me take you through my go-to ab exercises using just the cables that we have here at the Reckless Club. Starting off with our first setup, I like to use the rope attachment, but a bar attachment can work just fine here too, and I adjust the cable relatively high position. In this movement, we're going to be replicating an ab crunch. I first firmly grab the rope and lower to my knees for best stability and range of motion in this movement. The only movement we want to see during this exercise is spinal flexion. As you can see, I'm rounding my back as much as I can whilst keeping my hips in a fixed position. It is also important that I do not yank the weight with my hands. I'm keeping my hands still just in front of my head so that I'm actively working my abs. As you can see, our abs' main role is in spinal flexion, or otherwise known as that rounding of the back that you see during this exercise. To achieve a full range of motion, you want to fully extend your spine by straightening your back as the weight lifts up, then achieving spinal flexion by rounding our back as we work against the resistance, remembering not to pull with our hands at all. Now, what you're going to see next is incorrect form that I commonly see with this exercise, which is lowering the hips to the back of our heels as we bring the weight down. And whilst you may think that it feels correct as you're moving the weight up and down, you'll actually be limiting the amount of spinal flexion that you achieve, thus limiting the activation of the abs in this movement. I personally love this type of crunch because we can progressively overload it in the way that we would for any other exercise, which is through weight and reps. Now, this is not to say that regular bodyweight crunches are not a good option when done correctly, but I find the benefit of these is that they're accessible for gym goers of any level, they're super stable, and they're easier to overload over time. Moving into my next movement, we're going to grab any kind of handle attachment with the cable set up somewhere in the middle of our torso height. Because what we're going to be doing next is a torso rotation. I begin by setting up my cable in the middle of my torso and taking a small step away from the cables so that I can fully extend my arms straight at the beginning of the movement. From there, I just focus on sweeping my arms in front of the line of my shoulder and slowly controlling the weight back. So it may look like an arm or shoulder exercise, it is important that our torso does most of the work by keeping our hips straight and arm length straight. As you can see, we will be activating our oblique muscles in this movement, which are the muscles on the side of our body, as they play a role in torso rotation. But our abdominals will also be contracting to stabilize our core during this movement. Sweeping this to one side will only train one side of our obliques, so rotate to the other side and repeat. I recommend training whichever is your weaker side first because it'll be easier to match reps with your stronger side after that is done. Using the same cable attachment and a slightly higher cable position, we can do a different type of oblique exercise known as a side bend. Similar to before, I like to go to my knees during this exercise for increased range of motion and stability. And from there, we start by tucking the elbow right into our torso before crunching at the side, thinking about bringing the shoulder to the hip. It is important that, like with the torso rotation, our arm does not move, so our obliques can handle most of the work here. As you can see, our other function of our obliques is lateral flexion, which is what we achieve when we bend at the side with that same fixed hip position as the other two movements. Once again, these are all resistance variations of bodyweight exercises that you may have done before, such as ab crunches, Russian twists, or heel taps, but treat them like any other exercise. Increase through reps or weight on the stack when possible, and just see the progression happen. If you have any suggestions on exercises or muscle groups that you'd like to learn about, chuck it in the comments and it might feature on the next Technique Tuesday. Or if you'd like a personalized training program, come see me at Red Cliffs Club Aquarius or 15th Street Club Aquarius.